Welcome, everybody. I am Camille Sargi, your host of Just 2 Minutes. And today I have Nate. Nate, you want to tell us about yourself?
Sure. Obviously, my name is Nate, and the name of my company is The Computer Specialists. And I'm out of Taunton, Massachusetts, actually.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much for stopping by. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of random questions for just 2 minutes. And I have my timer over here. 1, 2, 3. So if computers could dream, what do you think they're dreaming about?
Freedom.
Freedom, damn. Have you ever been so angry? Like, people get angry at driving. You've been so angry at technology? And if so, like, what did you do to it?
I smashed it.
What did you tell me the situation?
So it was an older laptop, one that I used for the longest time, and it was having a lot of issues because it was old and I needed to do a ton of work to it. And one day I just had it and it wouldn't cooperate. So I took it, slammed it on the floor, and then threw it into the fire pit.
Wow. Okay. Don't mess with you. They should know that. Dealers looked at you. They're like, yeah, don't mess with them.
It was not a tech solution.
If you were to choose these two scenarios, all right, high-speed Wi-Fi that works anywhere for only 30 minutes a day, or a computer that never crashes but is slow as dial-up, like AOL dial-up. So these two scenarios, which one would you choose?
The Wi-Fi for 30 minutes a day.
Yeah? You think you could get everything done in 30 minutes that you need to?
I could get a lot done and I wouldn't be frustrated.
If you could download a whole website into your brain, what would that website be?
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. Okay, cool. I would have said YouTube.
That is actually a good one too.
If you could talk to tech like people, what would you tell your phone?
If I could talk, I don't know. To not bother me.
How about your laptop?
Do it for me.
Oh, we just reached the 2 minute. You think one day we'll be able to talk to technology?
I think we already can.
Yeah.
I think that day is already here. I worry about what it learns from me.
Yeah, that it's not telling you that it's learning from you.
Right. Exactly.
So Nate, I'm very excited again to have you here. And from a real estate or a realtor perspective, technology is very important to us. We use it all the time. But specifically what I want to talk about today is IT security.
Yes.
And a lot of people fall into the trap where they given away their login information.
Correct.
So how I'd like to structure these questions is, and it's conversational. So let's start with email, right? So what are things that realtors could get in trouble as far as email and security, IT security?
They should not be using free services like Gmail, Yahoo, any of the free ones that are out there. They should stay away from. Go more with a paid subscription. It doesn't matter where, as long as the provider is offering like advanced email security. So that way each message is scanned before it's received and each message is scanned before it's sent. And if you're sending sensitive information that you shouldn't, it can even remind you of that and say, are you sure you want to send this?
So what are they sending or receiving that could be?
Usernames, passwords, credit card numbers. I've seen a whole ton of times. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people put their credit card information in an email.
That's what they should be watching out from as far as checking the email or sending out emails.
Sending out, yeah.
For the security of their clients.
Correct.
They don't want to give
send
away
personal information.
Yeah.
Highly sensitive information should not be sent in email unless the email is encrypted.
Yeah, sometimes we do a proof of funds that we send out to other realtors, but we black out account number just so nobody can see that. So as far as like receiving attachments, what are things that hackers are doing to try to infiltrate someone's account?
One of the biggest ones I see is shipping notifications, whether it's from the United States Postal Service, FedEx. They're spoofed accounts with an attachment that says, oh, we couldn't deliver your package. details are in the attachment or something like that to get somebody to open the attachment so they can try to see what kind of package was going to be delivered. That's what I see often.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are they sending? What kind of file is it? Like, what's so bad about it?
So it's an HTML file, so it looks harmless if you just glance at it, but the code that's in there will bring them up to a website that'll cause a Trojan to get downloaded into the computer. And then it sets a timer and deploys itself to either steal information or to mine the network for more computers that it can put itself on. If you don't have advanced protection on your network that can detect those sort of things.
Okay.
Even too. So that's a whole nother thing. It's not just email. There's a whole nother layer to it. So that way, even if somebody does accidentally click on something like that, you have other fail safes that will catch it.
So I've seen that with email, and I've also seen it in text. They're sending text message about...
Texting is the new way for scammers.
So you click on that link, and it'll bring you to a site that downloads a virus that goes into your network and gives other computers the virus in your network.
Yep, correct.
Okay.
And not only that, it'll steal whatever information it can steal out of your phone.
So how to prevent that from happening besides educating people on not to click on those links?
Right. That's number one. You always educate. If you don't know what it is, you don't recognize it, don't click on it. And I tell my clients all the time, if you have something that you have a question about, don't open it, send it to me, let me look at it. Forward the message. I gladly receive virus messages often, voluntarily.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it is important to have good malware protection on a computer, especially if that computer is portable and goes on the road and connects to different networks. That piece is critical. Inside your home office, you should have a system in place that is always looking at the information that's being transferred on the network. There's certain hardware providers that I use that have this capability to isolate. If it notices something that's not right, it notices a piece of a file that may not be proper, it can actually isolate that machine for the rest of the network.
Okay. So this is kind of like a router that's put on the network to watch traffic going in and out and making sure nothing is going out that shouldn't be going out and nothing is coming in that shouldn't be coming in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Those types of solutions are expensive or?
No, they don't have to be expensive. There is some investment in them, like a router like that for a business. So you're looking at between $300 and $400, so not a huge investment. A lot of times I see businesses try to run off of the ISP, the Internet Service Provider router, which I don't recommend at all. Okay. It's one thing to keep it in place to use as a modem, as the gateway, the access point to the internet, but they don't really have a ton of security features in those to do that kind of level of protection.
So if you had that type of router or setup in your house or your office, and by mistake you did click on those links, what would happen?
Two things will happen. So whoever the manager is of that router, whether it's me or someone else, will also get an alert saying, hey, we found a problem. And it will identify the machine, what it was, and it'll say, hey, we sandboxed it or we isolated it, but it will have it there for your review. Okay.
Any other ways that hackers are sending you files or links for you to click on to download viruses?
There's all kinds of ways. I hate to say it, but the elderly falls prey to these things more often than not. Somebody can call them, like a phone call, and say, hey, there's a problem with your computer. And they'll just say, oh, you have a Windows computer. And they probably do. And they're like, oh, you've got a virus in there. We need to fix this before it becomes a problem. And next thing you know, they're giving them access to a computer to get financial information. They'll even ask for a credit card number. You give them the credit card number. They'll charge you just under $500 because there's a threshold there, I think, federally, for it to be like a federal crime. It has to be above $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they know the rules and how to get around it.
Yeah. And then they won't notice that charge for a while. And usually by the time they figure it out that somebody accessed the computer that shouldn't, it's too late. It could be like 120 days later, they'll notice this charge, or they'll call me and I'm looking. They'll become a new client at this point. And I'm looking, I'm like, hey, they charged you for this. Can you call your bank and see if they can do anything about it? But because of the amount of time, the banks can't even reverse the charges.
Wow.
So they know that. So they get to keep that money too.
What are ways to protect your email from hackers?
Again, good virus protection, good malware protection. A good program will scan each and every email as it goes in and out of the computer.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have to be network level. That's why there's so many layers of protection you should have, and you should have them all.
As far as like login, if someone stole your login.
Yeah. Oh, if somebody steals your login. My recommendation on that is if you are in the habit of putting your login in outside of the network often, is change your password frequently, like every 28 to 30 days. Now, of course, if I am managing an account like that where security is utmost important, I can even create policies that will force a password change every 30 days.
Some people get, when you try to log in, they get the text to enter the code in, or the email with the code.
Right.
Are those good ways to?
The two-factor authentication is very good. However, no one should ever be asking you for that code.
Okay.
There's some Facebook scams going around where somebody, whether you might be trying to purchase something on Marketplace and they say, oh, we're going to send a code to your phone for authentication. What they're really trying to do is get into your account. And once they get that code, oh, we need this code to authenticate you. They give them that code, and then next thing you know, they're taking over their account.
Okay, so two-factor is good.
Two-factor is good. It keeps, so not only do you need a username and password to sign in if you're outside, but you also have sometimes an app on your phone, like the Google Authenticator, which you can have all of your 6-digit codes or however many digits required right there. So you look at it and it rotates every minute or so. The numbers change and you input that number when it asks you, hey, what's your security code?
Okay. So those are things. So that's why it's two-factor, because you're using your email password.
Yep.
And then the second factor is the text.
Correct.
Is there a three-factor out there?
Not yet. I know of.
Why would they do that? If you reach the second factor,
right?
Like, that's it.
I think 3 will be pushing it for everybody.
Yeah.
I think it'll just drive everybody insane.
Maybe 3 is like your retina.
Yeah, right.
Or your like fingerprints.
Already, you can do a lot with the biometrics. You can store a lot of information on our phones, which a lot of apps even have it built in now. Banking apps. Would you like to use the biometrics for login after you put your username and password in for the first time?
But Nate, I've seen movies where they cut off the person's finger and now they have access to everything.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that they have to do today because some of it's temperature related. Try, and I always say this sometimes, if you have anything that uses biometrics, try putting your thumb on a block of ice for a little bit. Don't do it too long so you don't get frostbite, but long enough to bring the temperature of your thumb down.
Like I was dead.
Yeah. And then you try putting it on and it won't work. The door lock in the house won't let you in.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. That's a good feature because, you cut off someone's finger.
I had a business that was using a biometric login on the door lock to get in. And last winter it became an issue for them. And I warned them of this. Certain people it wasn't working for certain people. I was like, yeah, their fingers are cold.
All right. So any criminals out there that are debating or thinking about taking out someone's finger, it's not going to work.
It's complicated today.
I mean, they could put it in the microwave.
I think that might
cook it a little bit.
Might change the pattern on the thumb.
Okay. All right. So all right, we went over the email and all that and making sure email is good. We all use Facebook. We all rely on Facebook for ads, for connecting with clients. What are the things that hackers are doing for Facebook? I mean, you talked about one where the marketplace. Any other crazy, stupid things?
Even on ads, people place ads on Facebook. Not that I'm saying don't do it, because I think advertising is important, but there's people out there that they're scammers is what they do. And next thing you know, you're getting an inbox message telling you that your ad is violating Meta's or Facebook's policy, advertising policy. You need to review this right away. And there's a link. Don't click the link.
Oh my gosh, yes. I get those so many. Like, it's a message from an account that's created with just...
Yeah, they might call it Meta Box or Facebook support.
So annoying.
Sometimes it's just box.
Yeah.
These scammers are out there doing it. And what worries me is that it happens to you, it happens to me, it happens to almost everyone we know.
Yeah.
So my big question is, what are these companies like Meta and Facebook doing to try to prevent it?
What are they doing? Right. Because it happens a lot.
Right.
And I've heard where people's accounts they can't get back into their account because a hacker got in and blocked them.
Yep.
And they're like, I need to create a new business account now because
Right.
Facebook is not helping me or not being supportive.
No, their support is almost non-existent.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're getting more users, hackers creating accounts, which is good for them. Their numbers like, oh, we're getting all these new accounts. Annoying.
And then when you report it, they reply back, sorry, we can't investigate this. It's not serious enough.
Let's talk about, because we're all traveling, we're all going to different places, coffee shops, doing our work there. We're going outside the country and working from there. What do we have to watch out from?
So any unsecured internet connection could be a potential threat to steal or mine data. So if this is my recommendation, all my clients do this, and I have it set up for them. So that way the agents that are on the road, as soon as their computer connects to an internet connection, I have it set up to automatically connect to their VPN to secure that connection right away.
Okay. What's the VPN stand
Virtual Private Network.
Okay.
So basically the computer could be at a coffee shop in, let's say, Florida. Their office is back here in Rhode Island. That computer, as soon as it connects to that VPN, that virtual private network, that computer now thinks it's back in the office. And it's using the equipment that's there in the office to filter traffic to and from that machine.
Okay, so if that VPN didn't exist, all those dirty hackers that are saying in the coffee shop
could get into the machine if it's not secured.
Okay. Could they see what you're doing?
Depends if you shared access to things, put things on public access that shouldn't be. They could get access to certain files in the computer. Absolutely.
Wow. Can they see your passwords that you're typing into your accounts?
If they set up a fake like login page for you to go into, sure.
Okay.
There's any amount of possibility.
So they could do that.
They could
make a fake Facebook page that you go into and you think it's Facebook.
Yep.
Because you typed in Facebook.
Right.
And you go there and it's like, boom, we got that information.
Correct.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. That's dirty.
Yep. So the second way to protect from that happening is to not use the public hotspots. You can, if you know that your security is up to date and you got the VPN and everything, that's fine. You can use the hotspot that's in your phone. You can buy a separate hotspot that you carry with you for the internet. Those are things I usually recommend too, especially if it's somebody that has to do a lot of sensitive information. Even in real estate transactions, that can happen frequently. There's a lot of sensitive information being passed. Having your own secure hotspot is probably the best for connecting to the internet when you're out and about.
Okay. Wow. What about those fake Wi-Fi hotspots? You know, like you go to a coffee shop, Latte Larry's free Wi-Fi versus Latte Larry's Wi-Fi.
Right.
And you're like, well, there was two of them. I don't know which one to connect to. I'll connect to the one with no password.
Right.
Or the one with a password. That could be a fake Wi-Fi that someone set up on their laptop.
Right. The one with the password would be a lot less likely because they'd have to have a way of getting that password to the person to be able to connect.
They want to make it easy for them to hack into.
The free ones are the ones that you have to be use caution because those are set up to mine and steal information.
So if you connected to that and you have a VPN, are you safe or no?
If you connect to that and you try to connect with your VPN, chances are the VPN won't connect.
Okay.
And that'll be a telltale sign that that's not a good connection.
Okay. So, wow, that's interesting with the VPN. So VPN is very important to have. You can have it on your phone and laptop. There's services out there that do both. Yep.
There's services out there that do both. The equipment that I typically install in people's offices will do both. So you can have the VPN on your phone. You can have it on your laptop for traveling. And there's more benefits to that than just protecting yourself from scammers. You can also, with a VPN, you can still access the same shared information if you have a server or any type of file share set up in the office. Like we'll call it like a public drive or a shared drive, which a lot of offices use to share documents and information. They could still access that information securely.
Okay.
They could print if they needed to print something
That's what I
back
was
to
going
the
to ask you.
office.
They can print
back
anywhere,
to the office. Yep.
back to the office. That's cool. That's important.
Yep. So there's a lot of benefits to the VPN more than just security.
Okay.
Security is one of the top things, but there's so much more that you can do.
Okay. One thing I wanted to talk about, I think we missed it with the transactions, real estate transactions. We're getting wiring information, or the attorneys are getting wire information so that they can wire the funds for the house.
Right.
So they're sending $400,000 to this account. What they're doing is they're hacking into this person's email and sending the wire instructions to the right parties who are waiting for it. Next thing you know, that party sends $400,000 to...
And it's probably because even anybody susceptible to this, whether it's an attorney or a real estate agent, sometimes the attorneys don't use the free email services because that can all be prevented. If you have somebody that you're actively consulting with, somebody like myself, it doesn't have to be me, but somebody that's been doing this a long time will be able to guide them in the right direction. Yes, you have to spend a little bit of money to have a paid account, but that paid account's going to be worth it because a lot of times they come with even additional services such as email encryption. So you can choose to encrypt a message for even more added security.
Yeah, well, some of the times it's not even that they got into the attorney's email. It's that someone created an email to look like it was the attorney.
Spoofed, yeah.
Spoof?
But they already knew who to send it to.
They know who to send it to.
They did get into the email at some point.
Yeah, and they have all these email addresses that are, wow.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so they did get in at some point. In order to get that contact list, they had to have gotten in at some point.
So how to prevent something like that?
Again, it comes down to the basics. Strong passwords, change passwords often, don't use free services, have a paid account, not the free ones. That will prevent 99% of that. And also, if you go to a website and it's asking you to log in to your email service and you're already logged in because you have Outlook on your phone or Outlook on your computer, don't put in the username and password because we call that a phishing site. But again, good malware protection that's on a computer will catch that.
Wow.
They'll say, hey, this is a phishing site. We're not going to let you go there. But that happens. They do it to banks all the time. They'll set up a website to look like your bank's login page and trick you into using the link. It'll look like it came from your bank and everything. Oh, we need to update whatever. And you click that link. It looks like you're at the bank's website and you put in your username and password, but it tells you it was wrong. Well, now they just got your username and password.
Because it's a fake site with the fields. So when you type it in, it gets emailed to someone.
Right.
To be able to actually, wow.
Yeah. So that's also how somebody can get access to an email too. So again, it could be like somebody's using Gmail, for example. I don't want to pick on Gmail, but it's one of the popular ones that everybody knows about. So there's a lot of hackers that'll make the Google login page look just like the Google login page.
Gmail is also used for spammers to send emails to people because it's not blocked. It's
correct.
Gmail.com.
Correct.
Wow.
Which is why I am a big advocate of avoiding the free services if you're going to do something professionally.
So what do you recommend for like software for antivirus and malware and internet security, like the whole package? Because there's
a lot of options out there, but I always say stay away from the big name brands such as McAfee, Norton. Those are marketing machines.
Wow.
So they're okay, but they're also going to do two things. They're going to hog the resources in a system. The protection isn't going to be as good as it could be, and you're going to get a lot of marketing information from them. You'll get emails, and from time to time, they'll try to sell you on different services that they have, whether it's their own VPN or whatever.
I hate it. It's annoying. Yep. I wish I could pay extra to not get bombarded with marketing stuff from them.
That's why I usually steer towards the lesser known ones that are probably even better, such as like Komodo antivirus, Komodo Cloud antivirus, Komodo. They have a whole wide range of products that you can purchase. It's a very good program. And high security too. Another one that's decent is WebRoot.
Okay. Yep, I remember WebRoot.
Yep, that one's still decent as well. And then you could even use something like Malwarebytes as well. That one's pretty decent.
So these are for the computer.
Yep.
What about your mobile phone?
So same thing for the mobile phone. Komodo has a product for the mobile phone as well.
What's it really protecting?
So it's looking for, like, if you download an app that has a virus in it,
okay,
that you don't know, because there was this whole thing not too long ago where on the Play Store on Android devices, there was a ton of apps that were infected with certain malware that, for whatever reason, Google didn't catch right away. And people got them in their phones.
So that would have prevented that from happening.
Right.
What else does it do besides that?
It'll protect for spam messages. Like it'll detect the spam texts that you get and will alert you, hey, this is a spam text. This is what we've detected. You can still look at it, but we think it's spam.
Okay.
So it's a lot of protection in that way to just make you aware of what's coming and going from your phone.
Okay. Let's talk about spam as far as web, SMS, text, and phone, like phone robocalls.
Right.
How do you prevent those?
So some cell providers, the one I use, has a way of blocking the spam text. Like when they automatically detect it, they automatically block it from even showing up in your inbox.
Okay.
They also have one that will detect spam calls, and basically when the call's coming in on your screen, I always say it's my favorite caller calling me again. It says scam likely.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's so annoying. Like bombarded with those calls like every day.
And if you answer them, now they know it's an active number. So now your number's on a list. But if somebody actually answer it,
but even if you don't answer, your voicemail picks up and it's like, oh, okay, it's a real number.
Yep, that too. However, for whatever reason, I see it more when actually you answer it within the first or two rings. All of a sudden, the next day you get like 10 times as many calls.
Yeah. You know what I want to do is I want to take all those spam numbers, right, that are in this database and somehow hack those spammers and be like, hey, here's some awesome numbers of real people that you should call, and just have them call each other. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Put the number for the FBI in there.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
It's the world we live in today.
Yeah. And then I have to go through a lot of trouble to be able to have a phone number.
Correct.
You know, I got to prove I'm real. But what do they do? Like, how are they getting through?
Right.
And what is this country going to do with all these, with all this?
Right. Who knows?
Wow. We covered a lot, Nate. It's awesome stuff. How can complicated? Yes.
Complicated. Stuff.
That's why people need someone like you.
Right.
So how do people find you?
I mean, they can go to my website, natedaniels.net, and they can get in contact with me there. My phone number's there. They can send me a message. They can send me an email. They can spy on my business, see what I'm up to.
Last question. What's your password for your email?
Oh no, that one's easy. That's password 1234.
Yeah, don't
try it.
Don't set that up as your. Awesome, Nate. Thank you very much for stopping by.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Thanks
for having me, Camille.
Absolutely. Thank you.
My agent's got a squad. We all in the zone. In-house help, so they ain't doing it alone. They focus on clients, negotiating win, while the back end's handle, man, that's how we spin. I hand them business, watch them all climb.